Great. Let's get kick-started. Uh, so the topic is 5 ways to simplify your hybrid multi-clouds. Nutanix and Citrix have an old partnership, and it is indeed aging like fine wine. You know, Nutanix has a great track record of simplifying the infra on which Citrix is deployed. Now with Citrix DAS bringing on-prem and hybrid multi-cloud, who better than Nutanix to handle this, right? So they owe to bring in the same simplicity, security, flexibility they are much renowned for. So hang in tight, folks. For the next 40 minutes, we are going to talk on how Nutanix enables easy shifting between hybrid multi-clouds, how Nutanix boosts performance and end-user experience. It also strengthens your security against malwares and gain efficiency with predictable and controlled costs. Next slide, Sean. So let me introduce the speakers for today. We have Okay, so yeah, let me introduce the speakers for today. We have an impressive list. We have Sean Donahoe, we have Monica and myself. So Sean and Monica, please introduce yourselves.
Yes, thank you, Zishan. I'm Monica Grismer, very excited to be here today. I'm a senior product marketing manager for Citrix. I'm really closely aligned to the Nutanix partnership, so I'm thrilled to be having this conversation today.
And I am so super excited to be joining Monica Grismeyer here on this webinar. They've given me way too much control. I have too many knobs, too many dials going on here. But I am so excited to talk about really the 5 ways to simplify hybrid multi-cloud, which I think the inspiration was for the 5 habits of successful Citrix admins. So I cannot wait to get into it with you, Monica.
Thanks, Monica. Thanks, Sean. I'm Zishan. I'm Senior Manager, Partner Marketing at Citrix. I've been at Citrix for close to 4 years. I work with partners like Nutanix and others in working for the co-marketing activities, basically bringing the joint solutions to the Citrix customers. Next slide, Sean. So housekeeping stuff, please use the Zoom Q&A to ask questions. So this webinar is being recorded. The recording will be shared after the webinar. So I'll just talk about the Citrix Ready program for a few minutes, and then I'll let Monica and Sean talk about the webinar topics. So Citrix Ready program, it's a technology partner program that helps technology companies to integrate their products and solutions with Citrix technology and services. So we have been in the business for close to 16 years. We have 720 plus partners as part of our Citrix Ready ecosystem. We have close to 5,300 plus products that have been verified and validated as Citrix Ready, out of which we have 52 product types. And we are a leading technology partner program called Citrix Ready. So if you see the center circle here, we have basically, classify our partner products into 5 broad categories, right? Applications, these can be Windows, Linux, web apps, SaaS applications. Then you have data center solutions like Google Contact Centers. Then you have endpoints and peripherals, services, and security solutions. So talking about the main objective of the Citrix Ready program, whatever Citrix does, we have the customer at the center, right? So we want our customers to have choice. We want our customers to use Citrix in all forms and capabilities. So basically, we have built this partner program in such a way that there are so many partner technologies that complement very well with Citrix technology, and we basically want to run this program, give our customers choice in each of the ecosystems so that they have a choice to select the best available partner technologies for them to choose from. Next slide, Sean. So the program framework, Citrix Ready program framework, as I said, we have broad categories like applications, data center solutions, endpoints, peripherals, securities, and services. And we basically cater to 4 major industry verticals: the healthcare, the contact centers, education, and finance. So predominantly, like, all our partner products fall into, cater to these industry verticals, but we don't limit ourselves to these four broad industry verticals, but we also do have a lot of other industries to which like we do cater, but predominantly we fall into all these four categories. Talking about the stakeholders, three important stakeholders here: customers, partners, and Citrix ourselves. So customers, what we do is, we know, like, in a customer scenario, what kind of, partner products does our customer use, and we understand what kind of scenarios, what kind of use cases that come up for the customer. So we have designed our test cases around these use cases, and we ask our partners to, test their products and solutions against these test cases. So it's a rigorous testing, verification, and validation process that each of the partner products goes through. So once we set benchmarks and criteria for partner products to become Citrix ready. So, and once they fulfill this criteria, we brand them called as Citrix ready. So once a partner product is Citrix ready, it gives the customers the confidence, the trust to, use these solutions in their scenarios, right? Because our customers will be investing their time and money behind these partner products, and they want to work and they want Citrix to be working seamlessly across their infrastructures and their, scenarios. So that's when, like, we that's why, like, we make sure that each of these partner products goes through a rigorous testing, validation, and verification process. And by doing this, we also give the customers the choice. So for example, in each of the verticals that I spoke about, we have at least, like, 60 to 70% of the partner products available in the market that we have validated, right? For example, there is an endpoint ecosystem. For example, if there are like 100 endpoint vendors out there, we make sure that, like, we have the top 50 to 60 endpoint vendors who have been, validated and verified as Citrix ready, so that, our customers have that choice to choose from the top endpoint vendors. So similarly, right, like, in the cloud platform, we have partners like Nutanix and so many others. Basically, we kind of, validate the top vendors out there and make sure that they are Citrix ready, and, we give our customers that choice. The partners, the second most important, stakeholder here are partners. So what happens to the partners? The partners get an opportunity to, brand their products themselves as Citrix ready, and it gives them the opportunities to be in front of the customers. So we do run a lot of co-marketing campaigns to make sure that, our joint solutions are there in front of the customers, and they have the choice to, select among these partner solutions. For Citrix, as I said, we want to make our product that much more stronger. We want to, have Citrix working in all scenarios and in all kinds of, infrastructures. So that's the reason, like, we have this program to complement all kinds of scenarios, and, to make sure that Citrix works seamlessly in every environment. Next slide, Sean. So broadly, the program objectives for customers, one is trust. When a partner product is, Citrix ready verified, the customer can blindfoldedly go and choose and select the Citrix ready partner product, and he'll have trust in the solution. And we also enable our customers with choice, and we also give them value, because, our customers will be, putting in their hard-earned money and time into this using the Citrix technology. We want to make sure that, it works seamlessly throughout. Next slide, Sean. Yeah, talking about the partnership, right? Like, we have a very old partnership with Nutanix. It's only aging like fine wine, I said. So Nutanix is a Citrix preferred partner for HCI and hybrid multi-cloud solutions for Citrix virtual apps and desktop services. Similarly, for Nutanix, Citrix is the preferred partner for enterprise and user computing solutions on the Nutanix cloud platform. So what happens with this kind of partnership? What happens with this kind of, mature and old partnership? Product teams will, partner for validation and also interoperability of new features. Our product teams are always in touch to make sure that, we bring out the new features for our customers, and also are in sync in terms of product roadmaps and all. Customer support teams will partner for a seamless and fast resolution experience, because, they know each other's products and platforms so well. They complement and make sure that, the customer doesn't face any hiccups or any problems, right? Similarly, GTM teams will work on, enabling customers and partner awareness, like the webinar that we are doing today. We do a lot of, educational activities so that, our customers are up to date with the features that we have. And one of the best things about our partnership is, like, we employ the most number of CTPs out there in the industry. So yeah, that's about the partnership, and I'll let Sean take the stage now. He'll be talking about the agenda and the 5 key takeaways of this webinar. Over to you, Sean.
Thank you, Zishan. I appreciate that. That's some great level setting, some base information right there. As I said before, super excited to get into the material at hand. I want to thank everybody. The chat is now enabled. We have people chiming in from, we've got such a great global presence here. And I did want to say that, Samuel, I received your request and duly noted, and somebody will be getting in touch with you. We've got people from all over. In my backyard here in South Carolina, we've got Dublin, South Africa, Slovakia, just Dallas, Texas. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Monica, I cannot believe they're letting us team up again for another webinar.
I know. I am thrilled. Any excuse to get to talk to you, Sean, is a good excuse for me. I also love that Zishan level set for us today. I love that the Citrix Ready program brought us together. I think we're old friends. I was worried there that Zishan was calling us old for a minute, but I think the partnership being mature is the theme here. And you'll see that, especially in the content we're going to cover today. I love that everyone is chiming in from all over the world, because think about the hybrid deployments and hybrid strategy on a worldwide level. So we can take the crew that's on the call with us today and use it as a great example of how hybrid multi-cloud can really do great work for you.
Yeah, and the work from anywhere on any device. Let's not forget that, and that ability that we enable together, Nutanix and Citrix. And I think, Monica, so a couple of things. We're gonna brand this program the Shondo and the Grizz radio show. Is that where we're going with
I
this?
think that's right. Yeah. So everyone here is on a trial run of the first episode of the Shondo and Grizz show. So thank you for being a part of this today.
It's exciting, groundbreaking, but we are obligated, I believe, by the marketing laws of the universe, we are obligated to cover an agenda. So we are going to cover ease the complexity, and the title of the webinar is 5 Ways to Simplify Hybrid Multi-Clouds. And these are the 5 ways that we're going to get into with you today. We're going to ease the complexity with Power Glide. Now, that's a me term. That is what I have coined as a phrase. That is not an authorized term, but I like to call it Power Glide. And we don't have the time to get into why, but I'll certainly feel that after the show in the green room, in the reception. Predictable and controlled costs. Who doesn't like that? Fortify your disaster recovery playbook. That is so prevalent today, so important today. And then, of course, this is all for naught if we don't have a great employee experience. And if the employees don't like it, they're going to go outside of our provided experiences, and they're going to get into what's called shadow IT. Nobody wants that. And then, of course, we cannot do a broadcast today without addressing the cybersecurity concerns, especially around malware and ransomware, and how Citrix and Nutanix are teaming up to help you strengthen that security hygiene. And I throw that in because one of my colleagues hates it when I say hygiene, especially security hygiene. So you know who you are. I threw that one in for you. But let's get started, and let's talk about what is the hybrid multi-cloud. It is all over. Cloud, 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 cloud. Everybody talks about cloud, but does everybody really know what cloud is? And does everybody really understand what the hybrid multi-cloud is? Well, to compare and contrast, EUC has been around for 20 some odd years. And if you've been at at it as long as I have. You've been there since day one. But what is the future of that EUC VDI environment? Of course, we're all familiar with the on-prem environment with VDI and CVAD and XenApp, Zen Desktop, and everything that we've grown to love. And then a couple of years ago, we started paying attention to, and we started to really focus on cloud and public cloud provided EUC and DaaS, desktops as a service, and really honing our focus in on that. But in reality, when all of the clouds settle, get it? When all the clouds settle, what we're really looking at is the hybrid EUC, and what I like to call that trending center deployment model. So we have that true. We've got the on-prem environments that we're still maintaining and managing and still growing by exponentially today. We've got the cloud environments. They're giving us that flexibility and that burst capability, and we'll talk how it plays into DR, but also settling into the hybrid multi-cloud. And we're talking a true hybrid multi-cloud. And that's a mix between your on-prem environment and your cloud environments. How do you manage them all simply? And how do you manage them all effectively? And then how do you actually move back and forth between the two? This is what we're going to grow into what I call Power Glide. And to Zishan's point, I want to emphasize how strong the partnership is. Yes, it's a great marketing partnership. And yes, I'm marketing. Don't hold that against me. We are in marketing. And the quote slide that Zishan put up is a great testament to that. It speaks to the Citrix and the Nutanix relationship. But where does that come into value for you? And what I want to discuss here is that it is more than just a marketing relationship. We have seamless integrations with the tools that you've known and loved from Citrix. Tools like what you're saying, Citrix Studio. How about Citrix Director? How about Citrix Provisioning Services, PVS, MCS, Citrix DaaS, the on-prem, the cloud-hosted environments? We're making and we're meeting bi-weekly our engineering teams to develop and perfect these integrations. So it is more than just marketing. It is down and dirty in the weeds on a engineering and product level development. And hello Turin, Italy, hello Mexico, hello Belgium. I love to see everybody coming in, but Monica, I want to get right to it. I want to get right to it. All right.
Please do. I'm waiting with bated breath, sir.
You're going to keep waiting because somebody gave me a microphone, and you know what happens when they give me a microphone. It doesn't turn off. It has a mute button, but I don't know what that does. Monica, what's the name of the webinar we're doing today?
To remind you, we're talking about 5 ways to simplify hybrid multi-clouds. So we've, I think, proficiently set the stage on Nutanix and Citrix have that great relationship that goes beyond marketing. The marketing for both of us is hybrid, and hybrid as the destination. But let's talk about the tech that gets you there.
There you go. And the 5 ways to get us to that simplification. And we're going to start off right here. Number 1, ease the complexity with Power Glide. Now, I termed it Power Glide to kind of inference that ability to move the workload seamlessly, again, without refactoring, without retooling, to move those workloads based on where it makes sense to you. That could be private cloud. And there it is right there. Everything on-prem, including your EUC broker, your images, desktop apps, and let's not forget the user profiles, right? Everybody loves user profiles. I was in the profile management space forever in a year. And then, so we've got everything on-prem, private cloud, okay, new terminology, but we're all used to that, amen? Everybody's used to private cloud. We've been in the private cloud space for years. Public cloud now, that's that rotation that we talked about, moving everything into the public cloud environment, again, including your broker, including your images, your desktops, your apps, and of course, the user profiles, because we don't want users to have things that they're not used to. So we create those profiles for them. But now in marrying, look at that transition, in marrying the two together, we've got the hybrid multi-cloud. Now, what I find interesting about this, Monica, is that a lot of people claim they responded to a survey. It was called Desktop Like a Pro. And we know the guys who did the survey. They responded in the survey that, yeah, I'm hybrid multi-cloud. I am hybrid multi-cloud in my EUC deployments. But when we dug down a little deeper, we peeled the layers of that onion back. What they really were discussing is that they've got their private cloud deployment, their virtual desktop environment on-prem, Citrix Zen Desktop, of course. And then they've got their public cloud VDI environment, and the two were a duplicate of one another. Does that sound accurate, Monica?
Yeah, I mean, as always with the environments, it depends on your, your rollout, but that is very common. The cloud has been used previously for disaster recovery and still is, which we're getting into in a moment. So you absolutely can have that high availability between your private cloud on premises and public cloud. But I think what we're talking about here today is a mix of anything you're wanting to do, right, Sean? So your private cloud mixed with those public cloud providers, albeit Azure, Google, AWS. Don't mean to steal your thunder here, but I think hybrid multi-cloud means different things to different folks. But the answer, or how we're defining it today, is yes, right? Whatever you want to cover is hybrid multi-cloud. I'll hand it back over to you.
How we're defining it today is yes. It's as simple as that. So it is, you know, instead of the duplicity of that on-prem environment in that public cloud environment, you just have one standing there waiting for a disaster, whatever it happens to be. We're talking about actually having the environments weaved or stitched together. And I also want to mention that the multi-cloud part of this is not just private cloud and public cloud, but it's private cloud, and public cloud. And it's being able to move those workloads seamlessly across them. This is where my PowerPoint skills really come into play here, because look, there's your workloads in the private cloud on the left-hand side. And now seamlessly, the workloads are in the right-hand side in the public cloud. And then they can bounce back to the private cloud as seamlessly as they went to the public cloud. And you can be running them both together. And it's Nutanix cloud platform that's sitting underneath that is weaving them all together. I like to think of the Nutanix cloud platform as kind of like the conductor of an orchestra. They're keeping the woodwinds in tune, they're keeping the brass in tempo, and they're keeping the percussion, keeping the time as well. And everything comes together like a beautiful orchestra with Nutanix cloud platform at the podium. So that's our hybrid multi-cloud, and that's what I call the power glide, because the workloads are moving across seamlessly. Does that sound good to you, Monica?
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is it also works seamlessly with Citrix, which I think we're going to get into in the next section.
We are getting into that. We're going to talk about controlled cost too. So number 2 way to simplify the hybrid multi-cloud, or as I like to call it, the second habit of highly successful Citrix admins, is predicting and controlling costs. In this, Monica, I was there when this was announced, and I can't get enough of it. Talk to me about the universal subscription.
Absolutely. So earlier this year, Citrix introduced the universal subscription. I hopefully everyone on this call, this isn't the first time you're hearing of it, but if it is, I've got news for you, very exciting news. So the universal subscription from Citrix encapsulates running your workloads anywhere. So hosting your management plane anywhere you want. So if it's your on-premises managed data centers, that hybrid multi-cloud scenario, or up in the cloud, host your management wherever works for you, and then also deliver those apps and desktops from anywhere. So this is where it really weaves in. You see Nutanix big and bold on the right side there. The Nutanix hyperconverged infrastructure plays seamlessly into the environments in which you already have your Citrix workloads today, or maybe you're expanding your Citrix workloads. So I use the Lord of the Rings reference, one license to rule them all. So no matter where you are hosting, if you're on-premises virtual apps and desktops customers today, leveraging Citrix DAS, want to dabble in both, want to slowly migrate, we are here. And the answer again is yes. What can you do with Citrix? Yes. That's my favorite word of the day, Sean.
I love
So
it. Yes.
thank you. Yeah. With the universal subscription though, leverage your Citrix management in what way that works best for you. And also the slide that Sean brought up with Citrix Director, Citrix Studio, so much of that content we are investing, or capabilities rather, we are investing back into on-premises. We've released Studio for on-premises deployments. So even if the whole of your environment is on-prem, you can do rather Web Studio. So you know the kind of green box studio today, but the web-based console, it's much cleaner. You can aggregate all of your apps and desktops locations in one simplified management console. So just really streamlining and bringing all of the great features wherever you are in your journeys. So this is a huge initiative for us, really plays nicely into everything that Nutanix is doing, our alliance together. So super thrilled about the universal subscription. And with the costs, because that's what this section is, it is a single license, right? And then with that, you don't have to pay extra depending on where you're hosting. Your infrastructure can be exactly what you need. And you can leverage the infrastructure you have today. We're not asking you to get rid of all of those servers you've spent so long setting up in your on-premises data centers. Use those, optimize those. We have auto scale for on-premises now. Burst to the cloud as you need. Use that power glide. It makes me think of the electric slide. I don't know. I'm thinking like power glide into another, a cloud data center. But use what you have today and use those optimization tools that are built in with this single license. Super powerful.
And super easy. And I think it was our friend Jed Ayers when he was at iGel that came up with the phrase, the power of yes, I think. But in addition to that, so I love the idea of yes, the Citrix Universal subscription, you're running it anywhere, on-prem, in the cloud, et cetera, because that aligns so well with the Nutanix VDI licensing model as a per concurrent licensing model. So if you're using it on-prem, if you're using it in the cloud, it's a very similar, very aligned licensing model, and it's a very aligned purchasing decision. I like to say it's based on the premise of how I got through college. Somebody else did the math and figured out the number of per concurrent users, and I just copied that math and applied it to my environment or to my needs. And that's what we're talking about, licensing portability. So we talked about workload portability, number one. We're talking about license portability in number two. And the beauty is it's available through the Azure Marketplace. So you can actually purchase it, Nutanix Cloud Clusters, through the Azure Marketplace and retire your Microsoft committed cloud consumption, that MACC licensing that Microsoft leverages. So there you go. Beautiful alignment on the licensing. And tip number three for simplifying the hybrid multi-cloud, the 5 steps fortifying your DR, your disaster recovery playbook with simplicity. I love this. I love this idea. I love this this thought. Plus, I meant to mention this. If anybody remembers, don't look it up, don't Google it, don't Bing it if you are a Microsoft fan, but look up, or no, can anybody tell me where the term power glide actually comes from? And it actually makes sense if you know. Of course, you have to be an old car guy like myself to understand power glide. But anyways, we're talking about disaster recovery and bolstering that disaster recovery playbook, because here we have it. Another place to consider the hybrid multi-cloud in EUC is disaster recovery, because a lot of organizations find that maintaining the secondary site for DR is costly, is time consuming. And the idea would be, what if you could seamlessly move this disaster recovery capability to the public cloud instead? And you know, we have testing and blogs written about all of this. So in this model here, and I just want to show, not a show of hands, but again, leverage the chat function here. Do you remember, or maybe you currently are in this environment, when you actually had to have a separate colo or branch office acting as your disaster recovery site, and the expense and the maintenance and the duplicity that was involved in keeping that up and running, just in case your primary site, the actual building itself, failed? You had a second building across town in another state that was up and running and waiting for you. What I'm saying is, yes, you've got all of your EUC, your VDI environment running on-prem in that private cloud, your images, your CVAD, storage, virtual networks, everything. And then number two, you pick a supported public cloud. So we're talking AWS, we're talking Azure, okay, as your supported public cloud environment. Step number three, you extend out your Nutanix cloud platform using Nutanix cloud clusters to that public cloud. Again, that's that orchestra, that's that conductor that weaves everything together with NCP. And then number four, you extend out your Citrix services to the public cloud on top of cloud clusters, on top of Nutanix cloud platform. Number five, here we go right here. We're listing the benefits. Okay, Zishan talked about the benefits already. I want to mention this though. We talked about the ready validation. This is a legit thing. This is not just a marketing foofa. This is actually validated designs from our engineering teams, both at Nutanix and Citrix, that have gone through this testing configuration to say, this is what we tested, this is how you do it, and this is how we got the optimum or the best out of it. These validated designs are available on Nutanix.com and Citrix.com, joint validations. Go look at it. My top authors, my top reads of the summer were Hemingway, were Stephen King, and then the Nutanix validated designs. Those were my top three. I keep them right next to my chair. Don't
Some
you,
light
Monica?
reading for you.
It's yeah, just a little whatever, when I'm in the mood. And then, of course, you migrate or clone the end users that are on-prem. And then in the case of disaster recovery, you've cloned them up to your public cloud environment. And in the case of disaster recovery, that's the big red circle there with the X through it. In the case of DR, your public cloud will function as a replacement to maintain that business continuity. And then when it is ready, you can actually fall back to your private environment if you so desire and spin down that environment in public cloud. I love this idea. I call it the pilot light scenario. You keeping the public cloud up and running with a minimum footprint in case of a disaster. You burst out and then spin it right down when you're ready to go. And Monica, I spoiled this one because I talked to the Citrix support of the validated designs for NC2. So I am sorry.
That's okay.
Zeal and excitement.
No, as you were speaking to this great deployments architecture that you were showcasing to our audience today, I couldn't help but think I'm loving an analogy today as well. The Citrix and Nutanix partnership and our joint disaster recovery strategy, I like to think along with our customers is kind of like a duck swimming on the water, right? So what do you see? Our customers are the beautiful, glorious duck on top of the water, and the Citrix Nutanix partnership, all of the footwork and validation we've done underneath, all of the work we've done to collaborate with Azure, AWS, Google across the board are those little feet paddling under the water and making the duck go, right? For you customers, for you organizations leveraging our joint technologies, cool, calm, and collected. Obviously, disaster recovery is in the face of something that probably shouldn't have happened, but might be going wrong. And we are doing that legwork for you to make sure that you are covered, to make sure that everything is smooth sailing, literally on the surface. Your employees aren't affected and you get that business continuity. So think of, you're that glorious ethereal duck on the water. Citrix and Nutanix are doing the paddling underneath the surface. And part of that paddling is our support for these cloud clusters, right? So we have had support for NC2 on AWS for a while, and now we've added support for NC2 on Azure. So just think of us paddling along.
I love that analogy as well. And I do figure that out. Oh.
I think we're good. I think we're here.
Uh-oh. Let me know. Okay, am I back? Okay. And I was just going to say, I think I'm the duck that loses half its feathers, has got the fish hook in its mouth, and is picking up the cigarettes from the parking lot. So, but I love the analogy nonetheless, because we're on to number 4, which is boosting the user experience and making it all about the employee so that they have that great experience. And I want to introduce something to us all here. It's called Nutanix Unified Storage, and it is the way that we manage data, and we make it not just secure, but we make it performative. And the things that we can do with what's called unified storage to enhance that use case, that EUC use case is, yes, of course, it supports app layering, containers, Citrix app layering. If you remember Citrix app layering, you have used it before. Type into the chat any app V folks out there. Anybody remember the app virtualization, the Softricity? I always have to give that a shout. Out and provisioning your vDisk store. I love this idea because you can have fewer PVS servers. The way that we manage and organize the vDisk images for your provisioning servers. And then we have user departmental data, profile data. My summary on this is what I call proximal awareness. It's keeping the data that the user is going to access on their compute resources close at hand, so they have a fast and most efficient path to that data. We also may talk about something called Nutanix Data Lens coming up in the future, but these are some areas where we optimize storage for EUC environments. So your ways of acquisition, of course, you've got Citrix as your VDI environment, as your brokers for DAS, for CVAD. You've got Nutanix as your hyper-converged infrastructure, both on-prem and in the public cloud, Nutanix Cloud Platform. And now you get to add in the Nutanix Unified Storage to optimize the way the user actually interacts with the data at hand. But I would be remiss if I didn't say, Monica, talk to me about HDX and how awesome that is.
Absolutely. And in addition to the storage work that Nutanix is doing, what's built in and inherently part of all Citrix technologies is our high definition user experience fleet of technologies and controls. So that's when you hear HDX. And you might be like, okay, Monica, like HDX is cool. Yes, it is. I'll get into that in just a second. But what does it have to do with multi-cloud, right? And the thing is when you're working on creating your environment that works the best for your business, you don't want to sacrifice user experience. And that is at the forefront of what Citrix does. It's built in to all of our on-premises cloud apps and desktops, just apps, just desktops. Our HDX experience is already in there. So you don't have to worry about where your infrastructure is hosted. Your users won't be able to tell. You can put your apps and desktops wherever you need them to be, and your users will have the same great like local experience. Rapid fire, what makes this so awesome, things like peripherals, the plug and play to do external mics, cameras, videos ready for action within their environments. Any device, right, is our story. We have optimized Citrix applications and web-based apps that you can access from literally any device. multimedia optimizations, unified communications, doing things like Zoom, what we're doing today, Teams, across the board, those optimizations are inherently a part of the apps and desktops that you're given. So it doesn't even have to be a thought when you're looking at multi-cloud. Run your workloads anywhere to the best of what works for your environments, and know that your user experience will be just as good.
I love that, Monica. I live by that statement that you made. The users shouldn't even know where their desktops are running. They shouldn't even be aware of where their workloads are coming from or where they're hosted. I'm not aware when I turn my lights on. I'm not aware of where the electricity is coming from. It's just there. And it is a great experience, even in rural North Carolina, where I am now. But we're moving on. We've got 5. We're almost there. We did 4 and we've got 5. Quick math. Anyone? That leaves how many left? Anyone? Put it in the chat.
I think
All right.
1.
I think 1. 1 is the loneliest number. Oh, put in the chat right now. Who sang that song? 1 is the loneliest number. It's an age test now. This is an age test. Who remembers the song? 1 is the loneliest number. And we've got some chats coming in. I want to make sure that we're capturing those Q&As or Qs in the Q&A panel because there we go. Gary's got it. 3 Dog Night. Winner, winner. 3 Dog Night. Now, bonus points. Did you ever see 3 Dog Night in concert? Waiting for that one. Okay. Number 5, the 5th one is, Monica, strengthening that cybersecurity hygiene. Like I like to say, if you are in enterprise IT and you don't lose sleep at night worried about malware and ransomware, you have better medications than I do. So, Monica, talk to me about Citrix Analytics and its fight in cybersecurity.
I wanted to make sure this was included because Citrix, obviously I've been plugging apps and desktops today, but the Citrix as a platform, as a fleet of products is still thriving, and security we're really doubling down on with both our secure private access fleet of controls and also analytics. So while you're doing all of this movement with your workloads, putting your users exactly where they need to be, even though the users might not be able to tell, you as admins will, you need to have insights into these environments. So in addition to the insights you get in Citrix Director, Citrix Monitor, we also have analytics for security and performance. So definitely take advantage of these that are most likely built in to your environments today to make sure you get that security score for users if they are. It's hard to manage and monitor everyone at all times. So it gives you that risk indicator score. If there's some maybe sketchy behavior, probably unintentionally happening by one of your users, take action in real time. And same for performance, right? We want to make sure if a user, there's different needs for users that are doing high graphics workloads all day versus maybe a call center employee. So you need to make sure you give the proper resources to both. Citrix Analytics for performance will help you there. So in addition to this hybrid multi-cloud strategy you're bolstering, make sure to have those auxiliary features and capabilities to keep you secure and high performing.
Love it, love it, love it. Citrix Analytics, such great insight into the Citrix environment. But I want to deal with pressing issues at hand. I saw 3 Dog Night live in concert in 1987. So if anybody was wondering what the answer to that question was, I actually did stage security for them in 1987. I know. It's an exciting life I've lived. Okay, so in hand with that cybersecurity and the analytics, I want to introduce you to Nutanix Analytics and something called the Nutanix Data Lens. And we had some amazing announcements come out just a few days ago on the new features within Data Lens. And I just want to tease it up here for you because we have a
I think he may have frozen on us. He really is teasing it up for us because he's leaving us hanging here. But I know there are a whole fleet of controls for Nutanix files, and including data classification, detection of malicious activity, and so much more. They've also added enhancements. I know Sean was telling me before inside of the UI here. And Sean is back. You really left us hanging there soon.
I'm back. It's the suspense. I love the suspense. I just want to get this in on the Nutanix Data Lens, malware, ransomware, the detection capabilities as far as anomalistic behavior by the user to pick it up and detect it and then block it to stop it from growing and then roll that data back to the last known good is phenomenal. I love it, love it, love it. And then again, the unintended user actions, and then we've got the permission visualization, because if you were an admin like me, you just assigned admin rights to everything, to everyone. So this will give you that visualization into it, who has inappropriate permissions to it. And with that, that's the 5. And I'm going to wrap this up before I lose my internet connection forever. But I know that Vicky wants me to cover this Nutanix EUC discovery, the journey of discovery. If you haven't been here yet, navigate on over to Nutanix-EUCdiscovery.com. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? And it is a passport journey for you. And if you collect 4 passport stamps, you get a $10 dining e-gift card. And it is a great resource of information. Forget about the gift card. It's a great resource of information for you in EUC with Nutanix and Citrix. So navigate on over to that and get that experience. But I invite you to be skeptical. Don't believe everything I've said. Don't believe us for a second. Take that skepticism in your own right and drive it like you own it. And I want you to navigate also over to the test drive. So yes, there's Nutanix.com/Citrix, amazing landing page. I love it. You'll love it. But also there's the test drive where you can actually roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, and you can try all the things that we've been talking about as far as bursting those Citrix virtual desktops into the clouds, AWS and Azure. And you can even do it yourself at your own pace, at your own leisure, at your own time, and at no cost. It is the test drive of the century, better than that Mustang test drive that's on the screen. And Monica, with that, I know that we are over time. And there's the landing page again, Nutanix.com/Citrix. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
But then I may be biased on that.
I love it too. I saw a couple of questions in the Q&A section that I can answer probably in kind of one fell swoop. So there were a couple of questions that popped up while I was covering the universal license from Citrix. And a couple of folks were asking specifically about on-premises infrastructure. So obviously the universal license, you can use your on-prem infrastructure and do cloud provisioning. We still do offer on-premises subscriptions. We no longer offer on-premises perpetual licenses. But if you are maybe a government customer or highly regulated and are staying on-prem full-time, you still have options for on-premises only options. And you can actually do some cloud provisionings from those as well. So we can definitely work together on that. And then asking about traditional client server apps. So you can still run your traditional apps and desktops on-prem with that on-prem subscription or universal and leverage the cloud as well. So tons of choice is what we've really been doubling down on this year when it comes to licensing.
Nice. And I saw a question come in. I only mentioned it very briefly, but it was about the data lens. Data lens is available. If you have unified storage, you can get an actual free trial of data lens. And then the hyperscalers we mentioned, those are your public clouds, AWS and Azure for today. And they are, like we said, available in the marketplaces, but also the test drives would be a great place for you to start. And I know that Zishan wants to come back on the stage, but I'm holding him back because I want to extend my gratitude to our listeners for this inaugural episode of Shondo and the Grizz radio show and your drive time talk in the morning. And I know that your time is valuable, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend it with us. And it's you, the attendees, that really make these things as good and great as they are. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Monica, thank you as always. Love it.
What a
Love
joy.
being here. My dearest friend. But I know Zishan wants to come back on the virtual stage. So Zishan, come on, take the mic away. It's all yours, my friend.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Monica. I think this was a great session. The way you brought up those 5 ways, I think you guys complemented each other very well, just like Citrix and Nutanix complement each other, right? So thanks for your time. I just wanted to take, I just wanted to read out some questions. I think Monica already has answered them. So there was one question regarding the slides. Yes, we will be sending you the slides and the recording of the webinar, and it will also be available on demand on our Citrix Ready YouTube channel. So thank you guys for your time. Until next time, keep safe.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.